Till now we have seen about the first chapter and we have completed the first chapter, that is reproduction in organism. Now before discussing the question answer, just we have a recap and a summary of this chapter. Okay, just have a quick recap on this. Now these are the frequently asked diagrams from this chapter, which is frequently asked in the board exams. Okay, first diagram here, it is what? Fruit showing the seeds. Okay, so this diagram is very important, in which only one diagram and three diagrams are asked, which is the post-fertilization events in flowers, in which the ovary wall forms the pericarp and the ovule forms the seed. The labeling can be asked here, such as this is a part of a pericarp and this is a part of the seed. So it can be asked for the pea plant and it can be asked for the other two plants. Now, second is binary fission in amoeba. This is the one of the asexual reproduction method in amoeba. So this diagram can be asked, okay, showing the different stages, how the pseudopodia and the nucleus divides and how it been converts into two new daughter amoeba. Next diagram can be asked for the budding in yeast or in hydra can be asked, in which you can see the dividing of the cytoplasm and the nucleus, and then it is been detected from the parent cell. Next diagram here, it is what? Types of the gametes. Here this is asked in the gametogenesis. We have studied the two types of the gametes, isogametes and the heterogametes. In the isogametes we have studied about the equal same female gamete and same size male gametes, and here female gamete is bigger than the male gamete. Here also female gamete is bigger than the male gamete, which comes under the heterogametes. This is one is cladophora, this one is a fucus, and this one is a homo sapien, that is human beings. These are the diagrams. Along with it, camule is also important diagram, which is being frequently asked in board exam. Next, we will see about the mind map. Okay, what important topics you have to remember in this chapter? So for that I have made here the mind map of this chapter. The first important topic here, it is lifespan of the organism. What is meant by the lifespan? The definition can be asked. That is the period of the living organism from birth to natural death. Okay, now as you know that lifespan have the three phases, that is starting from birth to death, that we have seen: juvenile, reproductive and senescent. Here also the definition can be asked. What is juvenile here? So you know that juvenile is the phase starting from birth till it attains the maturity, that is reproduction capability. Next phase is reproductive phase. It is a phase at which it becomes capable of reproduction. That is what at the puberty age, because of the activation of the reproductive hormones. Now next is senescence phase, when the reproduction capacity loses by the living organism and now the metabolism slows down. That is a senescent phase in which we call in the plants, or aging in we call as the animal. Here in plant it is called as a vegetative phase. So here the definition and the differences can be asked. Now next topic here, it is what? Reproduction. As the chapter names here, reproduction. The reproduction is being divided into two, as we already see, asexual and sexual. So here the question can be asked, difference between sexual and the asexual reproduction, or the definition of it. Or it can be asked advantages or disadvantages. Advantages, you can say that for the asexual reproduction, that only single individual is involved, and for sexual reproduction advantage, you can say that different variety of the organisms can be obtained because two different individuals are involved to form the new offsprings. Okay. And one more thing, the survival chances increases because of the variation. Disadvantage, you can see here, no survival chances, it is very less, as no variation is seen. Now here sexual disadvantage, you can see that here two different individuals are required for the fusion of the or the formation of the gametes. Now next here, it is what? Asexual. We have seen in animals and plants. In the animals we have seen the methods: fission, that is binary fission, in which we have seen the irregular, longitudinal and transverse fission. Okay. Then we have seen the multiple fission in the amoeba and the plasmodium, and one is multinucleated multiple fission, that is known as plasmotomy, that we have seen in the opinilla. Next is what? Budding, we have seen in the yeast and the hydra. Then the zoospores, all this correlation method, which includes conidia, zoospores and the gametes. Zoospores, you know that, are the only asexual motile spores. Coineas are seen in the penicillium, and gametes we have seen the endogenous budding. Which is the exogenous budding? Hydra. Now one more thing here it is that it is fragmentation method and the regeneration method also. Okay. Now the asexual reproduction in plants. So in plants the asexual reproduction is what here? Runners we have seen, rhizomes, offsets, suckers, bulbs, leaf birds. Okay, so these are the vegetative propagations in the plants. Now leaf birds also we have seen in the bryophyllum. Okay. This is a vegetative propagation. It is having a two method, natural method and artificial. In natural, we have to remember about what? These methods by root, stem and the leaf cutting. And in artificial method, you have to remember about the different methods: cutting, layering and grafting. Okay. Now next about the phases of the sexual reproduction. Before that, we have to see the reproductive cycles in plants and reproductive cycles in animals. In the plants, we have studied about the annual, biennial and perennial plants. In the animals, we have to study about estrous cycle and the menstrual cycle that you have to remember. Next is about the phases of the sexual events in sexual reproduction, that is pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. In pre-fertilization, we have seen about the gametogenesis, that is formation of the gametes. In that, we have to see different type of the gametes, that is isogametes and heterogametes. And in that also we have to remember about cell division during the gamete formation. As you know that gametes are always haploid. So if haploid organism is there, it will undergo mitotic division to form the haploid gametes. And if diploid is there, it will undergo meiotic division to form the haploid gamete. This point you have to remember while studying this chapter. Next method is gamete transfer. And then in the fertilization events, it is also called as a syngamy. In syngamy, we have to remember about the external fertilization, internal fertilization, difference between both. And one more term is there, parthenogenesis, that we have seen in the honeybee. In honeybee, we have already seen about two eggs they are producing. One is fertilized, one is unfertilized. Fertilized means what? Fusion of sperm and the egg of the honeybee, which will produce two types of the offspring of the honeybee. One is male worker, one is sterile worker, and one is what? The queen. Okay, queen is produced by the royal jelly, and the simple jelly, that is water. The sterile workers. Next is what? Unfertilized egg. Unfertilized egg means what? The fertilization of the the new offspring formed without the fertilization of with the female of the female gametes with the male. That is known as the parthenogenesis. Parthenocarpy also you have to remember, formation of fruit. Okay, without fertilization, that is known as parthenocarpy. Now post-fertilization, we have seen the zygote formation, which will undergo cell division and cell differentiation to form the spatial tissues and the organ, which is known as embryogenesis. In the embryogenesis, we have studied in the plants also and the animals also. In animals, we have to study about oviparous, which lay the eggs, and in viviparous, which give directly birth to young ones. And we have seen in the plants, that is formation of the seed, fruit and pericarp, that is double fertilization in the plants. So these are the topics that you have to remember in this chapter. Okay, so thank you.